Welcome back to the Lethal Library. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Dani.
And today we're here to tell you another true crime tale out of Idaho. So just an FYI, guys, this is one of our first cases involving a child or children, which we typically don't cover just because it's not really our gig, but we're in for the ride. And so, Dani, what do we got today?
On a hot July 9th in 2009, 8-year-old Robert Manuel vanished from a Boise apartment complex. His mom's boyfriend called 911, claiming Robert wandered off around 7:30 that evening. Within hours, the neighborhood was swarming with cops, helicopters, and volunteers. It became one of the largest searches Boise had ever seen.
Wow.
Tips poured in, ponds were drained. Police combed through apartments and fields. For days, the city was desperate to find Robert alive. But behind this massive search was a darker story. One of abuse, dysfunction, and a system that failed to protect a little boy who never stood a chance. Sources used today are articles from the Idaho Statesman and KIVI TV.
All right. We're in for it.
Yeah.
So,
At 10:08 p.m. on Friday, July 24th, 2009, Daniel Ehrlick placed a call to 911 to report Robert Manuel, age 8, missing. He tells 911 that Robert has been missing since around 7:30 that evening from their Oak Park Village apartment in Boise, Idaho. And just so you have an idea of where this is at, the apartment complex is located off of Vista, less than a half mile from I-84. Are you picturing it?
I am.
Okay. Ehrlick reports that he was last seen on the playground and that he hasn't been able to find him. Authorities arrive and immediately start the search efforts for the boy. And the community is out in droves to look for this little guy. By Sunday, approximately 75 volunteers came out to search for Robert, and with no luck, over 100 volunteers joined the search on Monday, which is a weekday.
Yeah.
Boise Police Chief Michael Masterson said, quote, "This is the most important investigation we have had in a long time." Police have received over 75 tips since that Friday evening. They even drained a pond in Oak Park, but no evidence was found.
And that's, typically when this happens, there's so many cases where ponds are nearby and
canals are notorious here.
We have tons of canals
and large ones.
Yeah, my dad worked for the irrigation department, and let me just tell you that probably one of the worst punishments and parents being disappointed in me was when me and my friends decided we had a canal right in our backyard. We go feed the ducks and everything, and there's a little road that the canal, irrigation service uses. So we'd go hang out there and feed the ducks. And one day we decided we were going to go wander and try to cross the canal in tires, actual tires that were on the bank of the canal. Yeah, that was a bad one. Let's just say my parents went ahead and took everyone home and went and spoke to everyone's parents about the dangers of canals.
They are very, very dangerous.
Kids get found in them all the time. And what a terrible thing to find a kid in a canal.
And we live in a high desert here. There's fields everywhere. We have a lot of agriculture, but it's due to this complex irrigation system that we have.
Yeah.
To bring that mountain snow water all the way down into the valley. And they are literally in people's backyards. Mm-hmm. So, and I remember growing up, they didn't even hardly tend to them. They were all bushy, and you could literally stroll upon one and not even know that you were going to be hitting a canal in a field.
Right.
Because it was, and now they spray everything. No more wild asparagus.
Dang it.
Yeah, so they're very dangerous. And
so that's one of the first places that people are looking, in these little ponds that are in neighborhoods and canals. And
because even at 8,
oh, there's some
you
youth
think about
canals.
these toddlers. I mean, there's been several toddlers over the past few years that have wandered off, and it's horrific. But even at 8 years old, even a pond would, let
Want
alone
to
a
go
canal.
swimming and get tired, like water dangerous. So I'm glad that they did drain it, but it sounds like it was immediate, the response, which is great to see.
Police spokeswoman Lynn Hightower said, quote, "The family has said that he likes to sneak around and crawl into little places. He's an inquisitive little kid." The Idaho National Guard helicopter searched over the nearby New York Canal and the railroad tracks. Police are also interviewing registered sex offenders in the area. Eek.
Sounds like they were hitting this at all angles, which is good to see.
Robert lives with his father, Charles Manuel, in New Plymouth full time. But Robert was on his summer break visiting his mother, Melissa Jenkins, at the time of his disappearance. Jenkins lived with her boyfriend, Daniel Ehrlick, and her other young son, Aiden, at the apartment complex. And Charles had custody of Robert since January of 2008.
Okay. That's rare in this area.
And that time. Too.
Especially at that time. It's a default to the mother. And this is in general, but especially in that time, unless the mom is like shooting up in the courthouse.
Right.
The mom is going to get at least 50% custody, if not full.
Well, this all came about because Jenkins had been admitted to the hospital for early pregnancy complications and was unable to find care for Robert. And I think I just think his dad was like, my perfect chance.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't tend to him? Okay, I'll take him. Thank you. Bye. Which, good for him. But Jenkins does have visitation rights.
Sure.
The affidavit filed by Charles at the time said that Jenkins told him she was being abused by her ex-boyfriend, the father of the unborn child. And the hospital kept the admission of Jenkins, her room number, a secret because she was concerned that the ex-boyfriend might storm into the hospital and cause some drama.
And hospitals will do that in these type of situations where they are not even listed there by name. They have an alias. You have to have a secret password and have ID sometimes to check in. And it's very much under wraps. So they do this in a lot of different cases when whoever's in the hospital is in danger of someone coming to them.
And Ehrlick was by her side the whole time she was in the hospital and tending to her.
So Ehrlick isn't her baby's father that she's carrying at this time?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
The community is asking, why was there no Amber Alert for Robert? I don't know if it's a fun fact, but fun fact, the U.S. Department of Justice has rules regarding issuing an Amber Alert. And I figured there were some.
Right.
But just a child disappearing, I think that would qualify. Okay. But apparently it didn't. Because
I know there have been other cases and other like judicial cases, maybe in our state or others, where they're modifying because something slipped through the cracks because of the
I just think this would be a reason to send out an Amber Alert.
Yeah.
But at the time, these were the rules. There has to be a reasonable belief the child was abducted. The child is in imminent danger of serious bodily injury or death. There is enough descriptive information about the victim and the abduction that it will be helpful to release it. And the child has to be 17 or younger.
So they don't know that it's an abduction for sure, which if anyone's gotten Amber Alerts, it always has who they think it is or the car or what, like there's always a good amount of information to be like, look out for this car or look out for a person that looks like this with a kid that looks like this plus this car. There's always car info. I didn't even realize that until you just said it, but there's almost always car info.
And they have an idea of who abducted them, or at least even if it's a complete stranger, somebody saw the child being abducted. I don't know. Maybe there should be another kind of an alert for just missing children.
Right.
Name it Robert's.
Robert's alert.
Yeah.
Like,
Because how scary. I mean, and the possibility of him wandering off and getting hurt. Yeah, it's a real thing. But gosh, I still want people looking for him.
right. If you don't know who took the kid.
Or if he fell into the canal.
Yeah,
You still want people keeping an eye out.
exactly. No, I 100% agree.
Police said the family is cooperating with authorities. Trisha Burrell, the family spokesperson and Robert's aunt, said at a press conference, "We are a joined family at this time in crisis. We are acting as one, with one goal in mind, to bring Robert back." And I'm just, from my reading, I'm just telling you, Charles' dad, I don't think had the utmost respect for Jenkins and vice versa. And so she's just saying right now, none
We're
of that
letting
shit
bygones be
yeah,
bygones.
none of that shit matters. We're here to find Robert.
Which is good.
During the investigation, the investigators talked to a neighbor, Kimberly, who was 7. She told her parents that she was playing with Robert that evening. She said that she was on the green swing and Robert was on the red one, which is totally a 7-year-old thing to say.
Yeah, very descriptive too.
Kimberly said that Robert jumped off the swing and played on the playground motorcycle for a little bit, and then he headed to his mom's apartment. Kimberly left the playground shortly after, and her parents believe that she came home around 7:30 that night.
And the phone call was at 10:08, right?
Correct. But Ehrlick did say he was unable to locate him from around 7:30 that evening. So it could have been.
Yeah, and according to them, he likes to hide places. And so I guess it's easy to look back and say, but
Yeah.
still.
I just like that. I believe, I don't know if that was the right timeline, but she definitely had enough description in there. That's something that is said. I was on this swing and he was on that swing, I could totally see her.
It's definitely believable.
6 days after Robert was missing, on July 30th, a forensic team searched Jenkins and Ehrlick's apartment. They removed items from the home and towed a vehicle. And later that day, Charles Manuel choked back tears at a news conference. He said, quote, "My heart goes out to the community for all the help and support we've received to find my lost son." He was heartbroken.
Well, and seeing people come together, like you said, 100 people were there on a Monday. People just wanting to try to give their time and help where they can.
On Friday, July 31st, over 2,300 volunteers join in the search, and police announced they have evidence indicating Robert may have been injured or could be a victim of a tragic event.
Oh no, that's not good news.
Yeah.
Especially given the recent search.
But the community is coming out in force.
Clearly, 2,300 people. That's a lot of people.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Police also search the Hidden Hollow landfill, looking at the trash from the Saturday morning trash run. Like, they're trying.
Yeah, they're exhausting every possible way they can, it sounds like.
Police search the home of Evan Wallace near 5 Mile Road in Ada County. Wallace is known by Ehrlick and Jensen, and I never got like how well known they were, if they were like besties or just friends, but for some reason that was an interest.
Right.
Authorities dug up a portion of his backyard after bloodhounds picked up a scent at his house.
It's not good.
But this is kind of suspicious. So Wallace said his Chevy Suburban was stolen Wednesday, July 22nd, 2 days before Robert disappeared. But he found it the Monday after Robert disappeared. Don't be suspicious. For sure.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. That is very suspicious.
So 5 Mile Road, we all know, long. So I just want to kind of give you an idea where this is at in town. It's at the end of Columbia, where the only kink in 5 Mile is. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like the little jog, a little jig job in that neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And that's where it was at.
Is that the jig job?
Jig jog. On Monday, August 3rd, so we're like 10 days into this. 2 people were walking along the New York Canal in South Ada County when they saw a body floating in the canal.
No.
An Ada County deputy that was the first to arrive on the scene jumped into the canal and pulled the body to the side. More authorities arrived and they were able to pull the body out. This area of the New York Canal is huge here.
Oh, enormous. It's like a little mini river.
This area of the New York Canal is 14 miles downstream from the Vista area and the Oak Park apartments.
Oh my gosh.
14 miles. Yeah. Because if you look at an aerial map, the New York Canal is almost running at some point like by the freeway. And their apartment complex was just like a half mile from the freeway. So it's right there.
14 miles is a long ways. If you're driving 60 miles an hour, that's 14 minutes. At that speed.
Yeah.
That's a long ways.
I was surprised to find out that there are no gates or grates between the apartment complex and where the body was found. There is only a single set of body gates at Cloverdale, but the canal company must lower them into place manually. And what these gates are for is to catch big things in the canal.
Because people throw all kinds of things into canals. Couches, like truly, mattresses,
dead animals.
Sometimes small vehicles, lawnmowers, riding lawnmowers. You don't need it anymore. Just drive it into the canal. And every year, once the canals are empty, that's a huge part of their work is to go and get all they literally make an enormous pile, like a mountain of the trash that they get and then try to recycle and distribute or whatever. It is huge amount of trash.
But I would just think there would be more in a 14-mile stretch.
Right.
I think that there would be more gates.
I know. I want to ask my dad about this now. What determines where the gates are?
And why can't they just push a button?
Oh, God.
I know they don't do that. We're still opening head gates.
Then your irrigation costs are going to go up and then everyone's mad. We can't afford that around here. We've got to pay someone to go out there in person.
I'm also curious why they didn't even think of that. I mean, half mile away is not far.
No.
Why didn't they think about putting down the gates just in case? I mean, they're draining ponds.
And then, well, no, I think they should have because you will have to because you have to clear brush. If it's all the weeds and brush are going to go in there and they have to go out there with these freaking big rakes. It's just part of the job, though.
Yeah.
If there's a kid missing, let's go. Anyway, now I have something to ask my dad about.
3 hours later, after the body is found, Jenkins appeared to be crying as she left the Boise police station. And on August 5th, the coroner positively identifies Robert's body with dental records. The autopsy showed Robert's death was not an accident, and they are beginning a homicide investigation.
Not good.
Robert's funeral was held on Sunday, August 10th. Letters from Robert's father and Jenkins were read to the mourners. I'm going to round up really quickly. Charles, he was basically like, I'm going to find you. I'm going to get you. I love you, son.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Like a Batman style.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine.
No. But Jenkins' letter, I'm going to read to you.
Oh, let's hear it.
Quote, I want to tell you I love you. Robert, I dearly miss you. My favorite time with you You were just lying on the couch watching Tom and Jerry, watching you play on the swings, listening to you make silly raps. How you could eat ice cream and not make a mess is still beyond me. My memory that I will hold tightly is of you in the ocean. You were frolicking in the waves and shrieking with delight when I called for you. And so Mommy had to hold you and you screamed. So as you go and make your journey to a wonderful place in heaven, I will always remember you playing in the ocean, shrieking with such delight and joy.
I had no comment so far.
Robert was buried with his grandfather and his half-brother. Because this isn't the first time Charles Manuel has faced tragedy.
Yeah, what the
You
hell's
can't
going
even
on?
write this. In 1993, his wife, Silke Manuel, during a fight and in the heat of passion, stabbed their 4-year-old son, Michael, in the chest.
I want to punch my... I don't know what to do. What?
Yeah.
Who gets... What?
I'm really mad, so I'm going to kill our kid. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Stabbed in the chest? This is just like...
Heat of passion. No, she's fucking crazy. She was charged with first-degree murder, but ended up pleading guilty to voluntary manslaughter in Louisiana.
Oh, God.
She served 10 years in prison and was released in 2002.
This should not happen.
Who only gets 10 years for killing a kid?
Your own child? I don't even know.
Look, I know men like some crazy women, but this is too
That is
crazy.
another level. And to get only 10 years
Yeah.
for...
It's because she was a woman. I'm totally judging this right now. It's because she was a woman. I don't care. Or she had to be.
And so many of the voluntary manslaughter things are so lenient.
Yeah.
I cannot believe they couldn't get a second... Like, you couldn't get something else? 10 years is not enough.
It's not.
Taking a child's life, your own child's life, something's fucking wrong with you if you can do that to someone who you grew and birthed. And I'm not even a mother of my own biological children. If you grew a baby and birthed it and could stab it at what, 4 years old, a 4-year-old little toddling around tiny child? Oh, I can't, Dani. Like 10 years. That's like a tax evasion. Like, and I don't give a shit about people evading their fucking I don't give a shit. I do care about people.
Chrisley's got worse.
Hello? Hello. No, that's wild. And just knowing that Charles already had one of his kids.
And so, you know what? I bet you Robert was even more special
Precious.
to him.
Yeah.
Because he had already lost a son.
And he got the custody and...
You want to stab a motherfucker?
I just want to shake my microphone violently. Like... I wonder how much you can hear that. How good are our shock resistors? Let's test it. Oh, okay. I'm regulating my emotions.
Regulate. Okay. Because you're so... If that pissed you off...
It makes my skin prickly.
Oh.
Wait. I don't want to, Dani. I don't want to even do it now. Like...
This is going to fucking piss
About
you
to
off.
call it. Okay, let's go.
On August 18th, an Ada County grand jury indicted Jenkins and Ehrlick on charges of first-degree murder. They're also charged with failing to report a death.
So it's becoming very clear what's going on here.
According to court documents, Robert was beaten over weeks, and it escalated with his death from blunt force trauma. And this is the biggest details I'm going to give you. There was evidence of, because we just don't, it's horrible and sad.
We don't usually get into all the nitty gritty and the details. That's just not us. That's not our podcast. You won't hear that really on any, unless we just need to explain what's happening and why it was important to a case. So there are probably podcasts out there that have the nitty gritty. It's not going to be us.
Not going to be us. But there was evidence of blunt force trauma to his abdomen and head, hands, knees, and fists.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. These fucking assholes.
Shake your microphone. It made me feel better.
Let me tell you about them. Let me tell you how not only did they fail Robert, but a system put in place to protect children failed him as well.
And we've heard that a few times before.
Daniel Dick Ehrlick, age 36, is a 260-pound piece of shit. He is a stay-at-home dad, but relies on his father for financial support. You mean you're a fucking loser who doesn't want to fucking work?
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, thank you. Ehrlick's brother, David, said their father would, quote, bail him out. So dad was there just trying to pick up the pieces for this guy. And I want you to remember that.
Okay. Noted.
In 1992, Ehrlick spent some time in prison for burglary, battery, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And in 1998, Ehrlick was sentenced to another 4 years in prison. You fucking dirtbag. He has spent nearly 7 years on and off in the Idaho correctional facilities and at least 10 years on probation. But the motherfucker had dreams.
Of what? Like being a rapper or something? Like I'm already like, what were the dreams?
Ehrlick wanted to be a wildland firefighter. But that was not going to happen due to his drug and legal problems. He did work as a wildland firefighter as part of a prison work crew.
Yeah.
Does that count as making your career dreams come true?
Maybe for a time. And listen, I'm going to put in this point, and this isn't for criminals of this caliber, but there are so many where prisoners can do firefighting, and especially prisoners where it's like a marijuana possession of a small amount or everything. And they go out and do the work, and they are the reason in California and a lot of places.
No, I agree.
They are really, it's a fuck ass job. You're dirty as fuck for weeks. It's a dangerous job. It's a hard labor job. But then because of their record, it isn't an option for them to ever even go into firefighting as a career. So it's, for me, for criminals that are nonviolent, I feel like they should get some type of certificate or training that fast tracks that this is someone willing to do the work. Imagine if you were passionate about it and you sold some weed one time when you were 21 and you can't do it. One of the hardest jobs, they should let them. Not really this fucker.
Not this fucker, but no. And I actually know somebody that was in prison and did the firefighting, and he said he loved it because you're not in a cell. Like you're out there, you're like one of the guys. You have, and he said it was really hard work. He said it, he's drained every day. Like it kicks your ass because I loved it. Like I was out there, and they do make a difference. And you're caring for your community. Like maybe we're creating a sense of empathy here, a sense of I want to protect my town or these towns or whatever. Why would you, for nonviolent criminals, not want to help them? Again, is it about rehabilitation or not? No,
it isn't. So anyway, just my 2 cents. Let's change that.
Court documents from 2008 state Jenkins' visitation rights with her 2.5-year-old daughter, but that girl should never be left alone with Dani Ehrlick, which is Ehrlick, but it doesn't say why.
Interesting. Why would it not say why?
Well, they're court documents.
Sure. But
And, if I was rich and had a forensic journalist out there pulling all these FOIAs for me, we would know. But we don't. So leave it at your own discretion to think why. But I'm telling you, for that to be written in court documents that he can't be around a 2.5-year-old, probably not
kind of serious.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But neighbors say that Ehrlick was a doting father to Aiden, which is their baby. Not their baby, but baby.
Their youngest.
Yes, the one that he...
And I don't know where this is going because Dani does this. I always come in blind, but I'm already sensing, even before this, a lot of times in these very bad abuse cases, like Gabriel Frias, and we even had a very similar one in Meridian, there is one child that's the target and even is encouraged by the other children and is basically the punching bag, the whipping boy or girl. And it's sounding like that.
It is a psychological phenomena. They don't understand it completely. But yeah, it's a real thing. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of it. But it is a real thing.
No, and it's with these really bad abuse cases with multiple children, it's almost always only one.
The neighbor said that Aiden, remember, Ehrlick was a full-time dad. And I'm just telling you, this fucking cunt didn't have some important fucking career. She was all over the map with her jobs. She had no career of consequence. She was just work. So if she was, a corporate gal getting it done and working 60 hours a week and could afford to pay the bills, that's not the case here. He was a lazy fuck.
And she was slightly less lazy.
Slightly.
Sorry, that's my assumption.
She went up and went to work a regular.
She could hold a job more than he could.
That's basically it. And he was a convicted felon, so that probably, who cares? You can still get a job doing that. Maybe not the job you want. You can't be a wildland firefighter. You don't have to give up on everything.
Go mow some lawns.
God. But he was a doting father to that baby that wasn't even his, by the way. And he knew that. He knew it. It was no secret that it wasn't his baby. But the neighbor said the baby was clean and he was very attentive to that baby.
Like, it's great. For Aiden.
Yeah, great for Aiden. Was it though?
Oh my God.
So let me just tell you about Melissa piece of shit Jenkins.
Let's hear it.
She has had several quick relationships during her 30 years.
She's 30.
Yes.
Flat
30.
30. Okay.
And those relationships resulted in 3 children. Robert, a younger half-sister who was 2.5 at the time, and younger brother, Aiden, who was age 1. Jenkins pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge of injury to a child in October of 2008 due to an incident that left her infant son Aiden with a fractured skull. Court documents show that Jenkins did willfully inflict the wound by striking the child's head on a surface, causing a fracture to the child's skull.
What in the literal fuck? Striking a child's head of that age on a surface. What are we doing here? What? So court documents said that, and what consequences happened?
Well, prosecutors said when the parents brought Aiden to the hospital, the child had swelling to the side of his head. The side of his head was kind of felt mushy and swollen, and he was in distress. X-rays revealed that Aiden had a 3 to 4 centimeter horizontal fracture to the side of his head. Neither Ehrlick or Jensen could provide a history as to what would cause that kind of injury.
What could possibly do that?
I don't know. Jenkins eventually told the police that she had been frustrated and tired because she was unable to take a nap.
That is the hugest red flag.
And while she was burping the child, she flipped him over and hit his head on a table. Let me just tell you, the baby was 8 months old. Yeah. You're not aggressively burping an 8-month-old child versus like...
Well, and she says, I hit the head on a table. Not like I was burping, my hand slipped, I accidentally hit that. How is this? Are you throwing the child down? Like, are you, like, did you jolt the child into a hard surface?
No, she just flipped him over.
Onto what?
A doctor that examined the baby said a great deal of force was needed to cause the fracture of that magnitude.
So a great deal of force. And we all know that babies have tons more bones than we do because they're more malleable. They're growing together. They're fusing together. So for a great deal of force to be needed, what in the literal fuck is going on here?
After an agreement with prosecutors, she was sentenced to 29 fucking days of work release and fined $75.50 and was put on probation for 2 years.
This is going to sound callous, but for only $75.50 plus 29 days of community service, yeah, you can whack your baby's head on any hard surface that you please. What the fuck?
Yeah.
We're moving on. Stephanie's regulating emotionally.
The prosecutor, Fafa Al-Jani, I probably butchered that. I know I did. Said that she made the deal with Jenkins because she didn't have forensic evidence enough to disprove Jenkins' version of the story beyond a reasonable doubt. Which, I don't know. Nobody was going to testify against her, what she did.
Right.
It was her and her buddy Ehrlick.
Yeah, the baby can't talk. 8-month-old baby can't say, yeah, this bitch fucking whacked my noggin. What the fuck?
The child was still in the care of the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare until February of 2009. Jenkins and Ehrlick had to work to get the baby back. They were taking court-ordered parenting and anger management classes and earned their custody back in stages. So they earn custody. They can earn their custody back in stages. And commonly it starts with supervised visits away from their home and then supervised visits at their home.
Which there are processes in place. And there are times and circumstances where this is appropriate. My opinion is that it's not appropriate because why are you whacking a tiny baby's head on a hard surface? Because you want to take a nap.
It's just so tiny.
If you don't want to be a mom, and listen, I know that this is back further. If you don't want to parent children, don't be a parent. It's totally okay.
And you can end a pregnancy or you can give a child up for adoption to wonderful people that are just waiting to raise a child.
100%. And listen, I don't have any of my own children. I do have stepchildren and I view them as like definitely my family. I've never wanted to birth children though. And I will say that one of the questions I get so often is, what do you think if you'll regret it, not having kids? I think that everyone should ask themselves that question. What if I regret having my kids?
Especially if you're a piece of shit.
My decision is not going to hurt anyone else.
Right.
People that really regret having their kids, the likelihood of something terrible like this happens because they regret it.
You're not emotionally prepared to parent.
Yes. Go live your life. Don't do the parent thing. Like, it's so much more consequences if you regret having your children. So if that's the risk I take, I don't give a fuck.
Well, Ehrlick finished his classes first. So the baby was able to stay overnight with him, but only if Jenkins stayed somewhere else.
This is so fucking weird.
Oh, and just another fact to show what a piece of shit she is. Jenkins met Robert's father, Charles, while he was dating her sister, Trish.
Sorry, my brain's having trouble keeping up.
Trish is
the aunt of Robert.
And also Jenkins' sister. So she stole her sister's boyfriend.
What is this?
I can't
Days
blame
of
it
our
all
lives?
on her, but
What's
still,
happening here?
Still, who does that? Who creeps in on their sister's van?
Some, apparently,
pieces of shit.
Literally, The Young and the Restless was happening right here in Idaho. So sister's a boyfriend stealing bitch.
Mm-hmm. But guess who was still there for the family when Robert was missing? Her sister. She was the family spokeswoman.
Mm-hmm. The drama.
On September 3rd, Jenkins and Ehrlick did not enter a plea at their hearing. And this triggers an automatic not guilty plea entered by the judge.
Automatic default.
Shortly after, prosecutors announced they will not seek the death penalty for the pair. Separate trials were requested because Jenkins made incriminating statements against Ehrlick during the investigation. Oh, it wasn't me. Ehrlick asked for a change of venue due to the extensive media coverage. You mean the 2,300 volunteers that were looking for your missing... Yeah.
The whole community banding together because you said that your son was taken from a fucking playground.
The helicopters, the pond draining. You fucking cock. Ehrlick is represented by defense attorney Meehan and Cahill. And if you recall, they've been represented in other... They've been, in other episodes.
Familiar names.
March 2010, Ehrlick filed a motion asking for new attorneys. In the documents filed, he said his public defenders, quote, lied and misguided me on my case. Ehrlick is upset because they did not challenge the grand jury's findings. After a closed hearing, everything seemed cleaned up, and Ehrlick continued with his current counsel. We've seen this before in other cases, too.
They try to raise the roughness.
They're not paying enough attention to... This isn't about you, motherfucker.
Well, and you're going to get what you get, and...
Are you rich? Oh, no, you're not. You are a loser.
If you have a legitimate complaint, but when you're dealing with a public defender, whether you're guilty or innocent...
And it's better than no attorney, because we've seen that shit too.
Or people that opt to be their own attorney.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Meehan and Cahill were very capable attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
They were prominent
Experience.
public defenders here. So shut your fucking mouth. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
Oh.
It was discovered that 3 times a week for a number of weeks, employees of the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare visited the home of Ehrlick and Jenkins in June and July of 2009 while Robert was staying there. There was a court order that banned Jenkins from living in the home with baby Aiden due to his injuries. This was simply not enforced, and Robert was never inspected for signs of abuse.
I just have to say, if the state is saying that a man who is not the biological father, are they married?
No.
Unmarried, not the biological father, and he's the one that can be in contact with Aiden.
I do think, he assumed, he told everybody he was the father. The baby had the father's name. So,
But he wasn't really.
right. But
I feel like since there was basically protection for her while she was pregnant, someone should have known. Nobody knew?
on paper, he was the dad, though.
I hate this, all of it.
I told you to be best. Well, Jenkins had been reported 3 times to the Health and Welfare Department. The reports are called, quote, child protective referrals. And the results of those reports were unsubstantiated, insufficient evidence, or information and referral. These reports were made before Health and Welfare finally did something in 2008 after Aiden was hurt.
So the fuckery and child abuse
Started before that baby was even born.
and I'm sure that it did. It again, people that are incapable of being around children just don't fucking do it.
Aiden was placed in the custody of Ehrlick after he completed the required classes, but Jenkins did not have her rights restored. She was allowed to visit the baby, but not allowed to live at the apartment with Ehrlick and the baby.
And I'm sure they were living there the whole time. I know it. I know it's just how it goes.
The health and welfare workers knew about this order, and they also knew Jenkins was living there.
Oh, did they?
They did.
Did they? Like fucking bridesmaids. Oh, you do? Fuck my life.
Contractors that work with health and welfare that provided counseling and training for families knew of this order, but could not enforce it.
They're third party.
Yep.
They have no power.
Yep.
No matter what all they can do is recommend and advise. And clearly, the advice and recommendations weren't taken.
Is anybody home?
Hello, knock knock.
During the visits from the health and welfare department, Jenkins and Ehrlick would hide Robert in a closet to prevent them from seeing bruises on him.
Why aren't they asking where this child is if it's not school hours?
Just weeks before the murder, Jenkins and Ehrlick told social workers that Robert had been sent home to his father's when he was actually being hidden in the home.
Disgusting.
And the department never followed up with Robert's father.
Get eyes on the child. Like, if you're going to say, oh, he's at a friend's, he's spending the night, and it happens 2 or 3 times in a row, great. Where's the friend? I just need to get eyes on him. Yeah. Just a quick little, how you doing, Robert?
Jenkins is a fucking cunt. You're going to hear more. The trial for Ehrlick is set for October, but is rescheduled due to the prosecution missing deadlines for turning over evidence to the defense. And I'm just including that because, dude, get your fucking life together. These people are horrible people. Turn over the evidence. Let's go.
File the procedures. Like, don't fuck around and
Give 'em
not
the shit.
release things, because what that causes, what? A mistrial or an appeal. Hand it over. Buy the book. You gotta be by the book, or else you open it up for these fuckers.
On January 31st, 2011, Jenkins pleads guilty to aiding and abetting murder of the second degree. This is a plea down from first-degree murder. She admitted to the court she failed to protect Robert from Ehrlick and hiding him from family members and the Idaho Health and Welfare Department. Jenkins said she saw Ehrlick hit Robert with his hands and a board. Robert had told Jenkins that Ehrlick had trigger warning, had dropped a knee onto Robert's stomach. This punishment was called dead bugging.
What? It's so common we have a name for it.
That's what they called it. And
I've never heard that before. It's not like pile driver where you're like, obviously anyone calls it that. Dead bugging? Yeah.
the plea deal is for a 25-year sentence. Well, it's better than 29 days.
Or 10 years. I mean, I guess we're grasping for straws at this point.
On May 17th, Ehrlich's trial began. In opening statements, prosecutor Jill Longhurst said, Robert spent his final days with a man who beat and tormented him and a mother that didn't care.
It's fucking awful, but real.
She stated Ehrlich forced Robert to sleep in a crib in a junk room in the family apartment and made him eat food he hated and hit him with a board on his buttocks and back. Robert would often throw up the oatmeal and raisins he was forced to eat because he didn't like it.
And I think we all know, as a kid especially, and I was not a picky kid. I couldn't be. There was one or two things that I just couldn't do. And if you're forced to eat them, it is a traumatic thing. And what a fucking terrorizing thing to do.
How about you buy a different fucking flavor in oatmeal, you fucking dicks?
Or feed him. What are the other kids eating? They were purposely feeding him foods that he hated.
Yeah.
This is intentional.
I don't like cinnamon raisin oatmeal either, bro.
And if
Give me some apple cinnamon, I'm down.
Yeah.
Brown sugar, I'm down. I'm not eating
Get
that.
those fucking raisins out of my face.
Warm raisins.
What? You're like trying to rehydrate a dead grape at that point.
Yeah. Stop.
But yeah, it's sounding a lot like other kids' cases that we've seen where adults who are fucking sick in the head want to be creative in finding ways.
I'm going to punish you by making
a child.
Yeah.
Taking out all of their disgustingness on a baby.
Ehrlich had told a health and welfare caseworker that Robert was a problem. The caseworker gave Ehrlich literature about how to be a better caretaker since he was the stay-at-home prize dad. But the caseworker became concerned when Robert was never home when he visited and ordered Jenkins and Ehrlich to have Robert home for a session so he could talk to Robert alone. And when the time came, the pair told the caseworker that Robert had been sent back to his father's house in New Plymouth. And nobody checked. On June 23rd, Ehrlich told Jenkins he had a big blow up with Robert because he didn't eat his dinner. And the next morning, there was a hole in the sheetrock of the house and traces of vomit.
And we hear this again and again when it comes to child cases where it's not only it's the parents provoking so they can punish.
Yep.
They are doing things and have such a strict set of rules for this one kid that basically they're looking for any opportunity to just use this kid as a fucking punching bag. And that's what this is really fucking sounding like. I'm sorry for all the F words, but I am not okay.
Defense attorney Cahill said, this is a lack of proof case. There is no evidence Daniel did this. Trying to humanize the motherfucker. There is no confession or eyewitness. Daniel told anyone who would listen he didn't do this.
Wow, and that if someone is telling everyone who will listen that they didn't do it, that's the ticket.
Innocent. Right away.
Put the stamp on it.
Evidence was presented of a note found in the home by police a few days after Robert was missing. The reason I'm telling you this is to visualize what these sick fucks were, the show that they were putting on. So the note stated, quote, Robert, please stay here and watch TV. We went looking for you. We will keep checking in. Mom and everyone loves you. We miss you. Love, Mom and Daddy. Danny.
When you dumped him in a canal.
Oh, I think this would be an appropriate time to show you their whiny, crying pictures.
Please show me.
So there's Robert. He's so cute.
I think I remember this now, seeing him.
Oh. Murders.
Please look up on Google these two fuckers
Here they are.
with Find Robert t-shirts on, holding hands in solidarity. We're looking for our son.
And that's his dad, Charles. And I believe that's his wife, but it might be her sister. I'm not sure. Oh, I think that's her sister.
Right.
You're so sad.
We wish we knew what happened to our son. Looking up, just absolutely broken.
Puke.
Fucking cunts, dude. Please look at it. And we've seen this before. There's many people who have went and done interviews for their missing kids, and you feel the same reaction where you look at it and you're like, you are just playing it up and
Writing
wow.
fake notes to your son that
they
you
really
know
showed.
that you know is dead. That's why I took snippets of those, because I was like, the fucking fuckery to put on such a facade.
And how do these people still live with themselves?
Robin Ehrlick, Ehrlick's niece, testified that their family was worried about Robert's weight loss in the summer of 2009. She said Ehrlick's father, Daniel Sr., offered twice to take Robert to the doctor.
Children shouldn't be losing weight at an alarming pace, ever.
Ehrlick and Jenkins refused the offer, saying that Robert was just vomiting on purpose to get attention.
Because that's what kids do. Yeah, sure.
Robin also testified that she saw a bruise on Robert's back. This is a failure on so many levels.
Yeah.
I mean, the dad trying to get out, like, the boy looks sick.
Yeah,
We'll take him.
why is a child looking like a skeleton?
And guess what? With Daddy Ehrlick staying home and not having a job, I'm pretty sure they probably qualified for Medicaid. The bitch could have took her son to the fucking doctor. There was a reason she didn't.
Because she knew
And
what
whatever
the problem
excuse
was.
she had, Ehrlick Sr. was like, who was basically grandpa at that point, right? Was like, I'll pay for him to go. And they're like, oh, no. He's just being a little brat.
You know, kids, they like to just projectile
Vomit.
for attention. Not likely.
Robin also said that Robert would get in trouble for doing things like asking for a drink of water or to go to the bathroom, and that he was always on restriction or grounded.
Yep. This is a child that no matter what you do, cannot do right. A terrible existence, a fucking terrorized existence, that they are literally have adults that are getting off on being pissed off because the kid is asking to go to the bathroom or get water. They're enjoying the punishment.
Yeah.
It's gross.
A caseworker for the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Angela Hudson, testified that she observed Ehrlick tending to Aiden but ignoring Robert.
Big surprise. He felt like the daddy because he was there before this baby was born. So he felt like he was the daddy.
Well, and he had to win him so hard by taking all those classes. It was his trophy. Mm-hmm. You know that was fucking...
And this is the other kid that he never had that infant type of bond with. He couldn't pretend that this was his kid.
And Robert loved his dad. He didn't need Ehrlick to be his daddy, and I bet you that pissed him off.
Oh, yeah.
So Angela Hudson, Department of Health and Welfare, she brought a game to the house during a visit so that she could observe the family interact together. But Ehrlick refused to play.
Big red flag. Why?
Yeah. Quote, with Robert, Ehrlick really didn't have much to do with him. There just wasn't a strong attachment. I think that's an understatement.
He couldn't even fake it?
No. He's like, I'm not playing with that kid.
Could you imagine, even as a friend, being like, let's all play this game? Like, oh, no, Robert's here. No, I refuse. What?
Jenkins and Ehrlick asked her for advice on how to discipline Robert because he wasn't listening very well.
Yes, we're just two very responsible parents just trying to raise this kid who's such a problem. What do we do?
The caseworker referred them to a parenting program called Love and Logic and suggested Ehrlick and Robert spend more one-on-one time to help them bond. Which is a stand away, maybe. Like,
I think that's like a standard.
yeah. You know, you're not seeing the full picture. Like, no, they just need to get like their bond going, right? Mm-hmm. But also remember, the reason that they're there is because there was an abused child.
Yeah.
So let's remember that.
Cracked noggins and all.
In late June, Robert was not around during her visits. Once, the pair said that Robert was too sick to attend, and another time they said he was outside. I've been like, go get him.
Yeah. Cool. Let me just get eyes on him.
Hudson said she became concerned when Jenkins told her that Robert said he wanted the family to be just him and his mom. No Aiden, no Ehrlick, right?
Okay.
And that triggered Hudson to tell Jenkins to make sure that Robert was at the next visit so she could talk with him alone. Jenkins told her this huge red flag. Jenkins told her Robert wasn't the reason she was there. She was there because of Aiden.
Listen, I didn't crack Robert's skull, so mind your business. I cracked the 8-month-old skull. You see the 8-month-old? Mind your business. What a fucking cunt, dude.
Hudson questioned why she wouldn't want me to meet with Robert alone.
Yeah, what's the deal? What's the issue, Seth?
I think Jenkins backed down and agreed to let Hudson meet with Robert, but Hudson would never see him again. During the next several meetings, Jenkins said Robert was with Ehrlick at the pool or at the skate park. He wouldn't play a game with him, dude.
Could you imagine being like, hey, let's play Connect 4, all of us?
I'm not playing.
No, that little fuck's here. I know he didn't say that. But if it was that apparent that he would interact with Aiden and not, like, why could you not? For show? Because that's what, when CPS is visiting,
you better get...
Whether you're guilty or innocent, obviously, you're putting your best foot forward. Yeah. If you have a landlord that needs to inspect, obviously you're not going to be having a house party while your landlord has a scheduled, you know. So if you can't even play the part to play a simple game, this isn't like show me your parenting skills and what type of parenting.
No, just play a game with the kid.
Yeah, we're just sitting here.
Because Ehrlick is a fucking bitch.
And you refused? What the fuck is going on here, Danny?
On July 17th, Jenkins told Hudson that Robert had moved back to his father's house in New Plymouth. But nobody checked. Hey, pick up the phone.
Just verify. Just verify.
3 different former girlfriends testified. All 3 said Ehrlick was prone to sudden fits of anger. He was controlling and emotionally abusive. All 3 said Ehrlick had choked them.
Huge red flag. We've said it before. We'll say it again. Choking. Get yourself out of there immediately. You have like a 7 million kajillion. I don't even know what the percentage is. Doesn't matter. If someone chokes you, their next step is to kill you.
I think one of the big reasons that these women were harmed further is because the motherfucker was in and out of jail consistently.
Yeah.
Remember? So
They were able to
like, oh, bye.
the risk of.
Yeah, because he was going to fucking jail.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Put the motherfucker in jail, y'all. Do not ever let someone do that to you without consequences. Build up your resources.
Get out.
Do what you need to do. Get out.
A security officer for the Oak Park Village Apartments stated he saw Ehrlick calling out for Robert on the night of his disappearance. And he was the one that was like, dude, why don't you call 911? So he said he encouraged Ehrlick to call the police. Yeah. You're out here at 10 o'clock at night calling for a missing kid. Don't you think it's... And it stays light here till 10:30 in the
Yes, it does.
summer. But dude, it's dusk. You've been looking for a kid for over 2 hours. Don't you think it's time to call the cops?
He's like, it seems like you're putting on a play right now. Yeah. Love the performance. Great. No notes. What do they win at a Tony? Is that for praise? I don't know. But
don't ask me those fucking sophisticated questions.
I'm not stuff. I know the names. I don't know what they're for. But yes, a word for you. Maybe reach out to the authorities.
You have an 8-year-old missing.
Oh, I'm about to literally stab my notebook forcefully.
Several officers testified that the pair seemed off for having a missing child.
Oh.
Jenkins was stoic and Ehrlick was unstable. This fucking bitch, let me just tell you. He was sweating, agitated, and then he was angry one minute and calm the next.
It's eating at you. You can't. It's going to destroy you, as it should.
And in one report I read, like, Ehrlick threw himself on the ground and, like, threw a temper tantrum in a second.
Someone get us the footage. Y'all, if there is footage, please tag us in it. You post it.
Take it.
Just let us know when you post it.
And the body.
I want to see this because it's clear this man is an actor.
Well, the primary investigator that night, Schlegel, said that he was frustrated that Jenkins and Ehrlick seemed to want to help with the investigation.
They wish they could.
They would not answer any direct questions.
Wish I could help you.
And he said they wouldn't even look him in the eye.
My kid? I haven't met the guy.
And officers were like, suspicious.
They're like, yeah, they fucking did it.
Officer Rawson was out on the scene that night, and he testified that Jenkins would not give him the phone number of her ex-husband, Frank, who's the baby daddy of the 2.5-year-old.
The girl.
Yeah. And didn't want her to call her sister or other family members to see if anybody maybe picked up Robert earlier.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, my plan's right. But did we were you supposed to like pick up?
What is this?
No, don't call my sister.
They don't want any press. They're very famous.
Don't call my sister.
As a mother.
That's one of the first phone calls. My mother, my sister, my aunties.
Fucking dingbat.
No, don't call. And because these people are acting so fucking shady, 3 days after reporting Robert missing, police put them under surveillance.
Yeah, watch them, because obviously they're fucking weird. You gave off weird vibes, you fucking psycho.
Don't be fucking weird.
I don't think they could have if they tried.
Ehrlich's father, Daniel Sr., testified that he was investigated for the disappearance of Robert. Why? Because piece of shit Ehrlick said his father was involved.
Oh, so not only are they just denying any involvement, they're actively pointing to other people that aren't involved, and they know that they aren't.
But detectives had Daniel's timeline. Thank God. Thank God for receipts, literally.
Right.
He left the nursing home after visiting his wife at 6:30 p.m. that night, and then he stopped at the Tobacco Connection on State Street. Been there.
Yep. Cameras. Well, yeah, probably.
He headed over to Ehrlick's apartment at 7 p.m. to help his loser son pay his electric bill.
And this is before he's even missing. Okay.
Yep.
Gotta help him pay that power bill.
Daniel said he didn't see Robert while he was there,
Nobody had.
and he was told he was playing outside. Receipts and videos showed Daniel arrived at the Winco at 7:39, and he left at 8:08 p.m. When he arrived at his home on Bannock, a neighbor helped him unload groceries around 8:30. Daniel then drove his neighbor down to the Maverick store and then brought her back. I think
Rock solid
he's
alibi.
he's a good dude.
He's helping many people. He's helping pay a power bill. Neighbors are helping him.
He was visiting his wife at the nursing home.
And everything that he's doing has a video receipt.
Yeah.
So how terrible for your own son to be like,
Such a piece of shit.
maybe my dad, I don't know.
Who remember, offered to take Robert to the doctor because he was so skinny.
Yeah, why is this kid so fucking skinny?
Then he left and went and pick up his other son, David, at a friend's house. And while he was driving, there was a phone call between Daniel and Ehrlick at 9:08 p.m. Ehrlick again called his father again at 9:58 and told him Robert was missing. So I imagine this 9:08 phone call was just to feel his dad out. Like, I think he wanted to tell his dad that something had happened, but he didn't have the balls to do it because he's a pussy bitch and he couldn't do it.
And he was clearly missing at this time. Like, he'd been hollering all around the neighborhood, and you didn't mention it to your dad at 9:08. You waited till the 9:58.
Yep.
Interesting. So you didn't tell him when you've been shouting around the neighborhood for a few hours. You didn't think to mention it to your father, who was just there. Like, since you left, we found out that the kid's missing. We've been out here screaming for hours. No, not until everyone gets involved.
When he was at Dyer Straits, because he talked to his dad at 9:58. And what time did he call the police?
10:02.
10:08.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
I bet dad said, you better call the police, son.
Yeah, son. You've been shouting for hours, just like the security guard told you. Like, maybe fucking call the
Maybe you should be
police.
calling the cops. It's fucking getting dark. Robert's father, Charles, testified that the night that Robert disappeared, Jenkins had left him a voicemail saying, quote, Robert's missing. Bye. Robert's missing. You
Fucking
bye.
weirdos.
I have to tell you this. Let me just tell you. So Jenkins left work like at 9:45 or something. She started work at 2:30 and left at like 9:45 and said she had to leave because her child was missing. Meanwhile, I'm going to tell you, there is, and I didn't write this all down. 42 text messages that day between Jenkins and Ehrlick.
Oh, I'm sure.
They deleted so many of them, but there was a lot of conversation going on, and the ones that weren't deleted were basic, I'm doing okay, love you, blah, blah, blah. But also, a detective ended up deleting some of the messages. So that's why I didn't put it in.
A detective ended up deleting some of the messages
So they were never like,
by mistake.
yeah. But fun fact,
Since we're having so much fun here.
one of our coworkers hated Jenkins so much that they called 911 to make sure that there was an actual child missing because they didn't, I don't know if it was a male or female, didn't believe her when she said she had a child missing.
Which,
Red flag.
if you're like, you've never even talked about this child. This is your oldest child. Sure. Is this some type of hoax? Wow.
To have a
So
coworker
even-
be like, I'm going to check this bitch out. She's lying.
Even people that didn't want anything to do with her, didn't want to know about her, are like, something's fucking fishy about this. The red flags were red flagging at, they were fireworks in the air.
So to have a coworker think so less of you, that'd be like,
Doesn't even have a kid that age.
to be like me say, my mom's in the hospital, I need to go. And then they're calling the hospital to make sure my mom, like, you really don't like me.
Yeah. Like, we've
I want to
been
get this
very
bitch fired.
No, I need to see some doctors notes. I need to see some police reports.
Receipts, please, and thank you.
She's like, no, this bitch is weird. Wow. Wowie wow.
So Charles and his wife, upon getting that voicemail message after 10 o'clock at night, right? They're like, we're coming to Boise to help find Robert. So Charles and his wife decided to drive to Boise to help find Robert. On the trip to Boise, because New Plymouth, that's 55, 55 minutes, something like that. I mean, missing child is probably more 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But Charles had called Jenkins twice on the drive to Boise, and she discouraged him from coming.
How? Do not come here. Yeah, the kid's gone, but like,
We got this.
If you could go away though, like, don't come here. Don't.
And Charles was fully aware of what happened with baby Aiden,
Oh.
because he also testified that he had spoke with Health and Welfare about Robert staying for the extended time with Jenkins, and they reassured him it was fine.
Oh. Again, someone trying to do what they can in their power, and it is overlooked.
FBI agent Jeffrey Blevins testified Ehrlick had stopped 4 interviews over the 6 days. Like, get up, walk out.
That's not weird.
It was all when they were pressuring him about his timeline. And you know, when you motherfuckers lie, you know you can't remember what you fucking lied about, especially when you're throwing yourself on the ground like a fucking toddler and throwing a fit. But during that 4th interview, Ehrlick told him that he would come back in the morning and tell him the truth. Let him know what happened.
That's not weird.
But that didn't happen.
Of course it didn't.
Instead, Ehrlick was hospitalized for a drug overdose the next day.
Oh, no.
He spent more than a week at Intermountain Hospital, but refused to give urine samples to the nurse and became agitated when asked to do so. But blood tests proved he faked the overdose.
I'm just actively dissociating. I'm so sorry.
So everybody was waiting for Jenkins to testify.
Right.
Even the judge said that the prosecution could compel her to testify. But she didn't. Prosecutors and even her own defense attorney said she was a habitual liar.
Wow. For a defense attorney to admit that, that's pretty severe.
I think they didn't want to muddy the waters because they felt like they had a good case. And let's not, who knows what she was going to say up there because she's a fucking fat mouth.
Correct.
The defense does call 3 different witnesses, and they state that they all saw Robert after 7:30 p.m. that night. But the prosecution was able to poke holes in their testimony, and 2 of the 3 were under the age of 18.
Okay.
So basically, they had conflicting stories about the time, their timelines
Just
when they saw
muddying
Robert.
the waters again.
Yeah. And they're like, and one gal that testified was like, I saw him, blah, 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 in the staircase. And then the prosecutor was like, you already told us you were at work at that time. That kind of stuff.
Yikes.
Eek. So, yeah. And then one kid had even talked to the media and had told his story, and then in court he said a different story. So they were just poking, like, and it's sad because these kids probably really were trying to do their best,
And they might have believed, and
and they were subpoenaed to testify, and then they go up
wasn't a
there and
choice.
testify. Yeah, they weren't rooting for Ehrlick or anything. They were just,
they had to be there.
yep. And then this piece of shit testifies in his own defense.
Brilliant.
Attorney Cahill asked Ehrlick twice if he had anything to do with Robert's death or disappearance. And twice he said no.
Well, that does it, folks. Wrap it up.
He told the jury how he was a stay-at-home dad while Jenkins worked. He said that Jenkins was the disciplinarian in the home and followed her direction.
Oh.
And prosecutors slammed him with questions regarding his constantly changing stories. Like, he couldn't keep a timeline straight. He had lied so many times. He didn't know up from down. So, it takes the jury only 3 hours to find Ehrlick guilty of first-degree murder by torture and aggravated battery. And I'm telling you, I think this trial lasted over 4 weeks, and there was 100 people that testified.
Okay.
He 3
and
hours.
guilty by torture, as we referenced earlier, we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty details, but to have that kind of a conviction, it's well-deserved.
Go
So,
fuck yourself, Ehrlick.
Yeah.
Do your buddies know what you've done? Jenkins.
Quick shout out. Do y'all get podcasts in there?
Let's go. What they've been like? Ask them for their papers. I read. Okay. I saw on TikTok that was a thing.
You can get what you need to get.
Yep. They're assholes. At his sentencing, Ehrlick didn't say a word. Gus Cahill asked that Ehrlick be eligible for parole after 10 years.
No. No, thank you.
I love this judge. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm so ready, Danny.
Judge Williamson said society needed protection from Ehrlick, who had been in trouble with the law since he was 12 years old. Judge Williamson said, quote, Ehrlick did substantial pain to a 50-pound child during a time when there was no one there to love him or protect him. The kind of sentence that might be the most appropriate for Mr. Ehrlick, I can't impose. I can't impose a sentence that would require that he endure the dead bug by somebody 5 times what he weighs. I can't impose occasional aggravated battery on Mr. Ehrlick. There is only one sentence the court can impose. I love that. Like, I just can't have somebody come beat your fucking ass every once in a while because you won't eat your fucking oatmeal and raisins, you fucking
Unfortunately,
bitch.
I am unable to order people to rip your ass to shreds at will.
Fucking
So
love her
the best
so
I
much.
can do is I'm so
Isn't that beautiful?
this is one of the most, and for a judge to put it in legalese where it's like, it's very proper. I just fucking love this shit when a judge does this.
No,
where
it's
they're like,
beautiful.
if I could rip you from asshole to nose hole, I would. But they do it in a proper
Wasn't that so? Chef's kiss.
chef's fucking kiss. That was Williams, I think, right?
Williamson. Judge Williamson.
Judge Williamson, thank you. And
She was a badass. She's like, nope. This is the best I can do.
I wish I could do more, especially this specific thing to you. Oh, man.
Ehrlick was sentenced to life, and he cried like a fucking baby when leaving the courtroom.
No.
Enjoy your life, bitch.
Literally put those tears in my fucking cup. Cheers.
Cheers. Wouldn't that be awesome though? She really could have like random ass beatings.
My sentence is that every inmate on your block has their cells open to yours and no one can see a thing. So whatever happens, happens.
Every morning.
It's Vegas, baby.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Every morning, the biggest, baddest motherfucker on your block gets to roll some dice. And if he rolls a 7, you're getting your ass beat. Thank you. Wouldn't that be
every single fucking day till the rest of your life? I'm sorry, guys. I'm very like.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Over this?
Yeah.
But gosh, in a perfect world,
wouldn't it be great? Anyway.
Wowie.
Love the judge.
Yes.
And later the same day, Jenkins has her sentencing hearing.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, because she had her little plea deal.
Melissa, how you doing, sis?
Jenkins spoke to Charles directly.
I would have wished that if I was Charles, I'd be like, no, thank you.
You're fucking. She said, quote, Chuck, I pleaded guilty because I didn't want to put you through another trial. I know all I had to do was ask for help. It's my fault Robert is not with us anymore. I want to go back, but I can't. Chuck, please don't blame yourself. You need to blame me for not protecting Robert. I'm going to prison where I belong.
I'm not often wordless. I was there for a split second. Please don't blame yourself. You didn't need to say that, sis. No one was. You fucking... You think this is a Hallmark movie? You're writing a Dear John letter?
Hey,
Suck
Chuck.
my dick. Sorry. That was... I've had some outbursts today, and...
This is a case to be outbursting.
I'm not a professional journalist. I hope y'all knew that. I'm going to state it for the record here.
But you're going to love this judge again. You're going to hurt her.
Williams, what do you got for me? Williamson.
Yes. Said, quote, you come into this courtroom in tears like you are so sad about all of this. I am not buying it that you have had all this remorse. I just don't think that that is sincere. I don't think that you cared. Parents would die for their children. Parents who love their children would do that. Charles Manuel would have done that for Robert. Get it, sis.
Oh, this is what every case, especially with children, needs. But even of other murder cases where it's so clean cut. Sometimes when you hear the judge's verdict and you're like, couldn't you slice a little? Williamson is slicing a lot.
Dicing. Boom. So, Jenkins had pled guilty through a Rule 2 plea agreement. That is a special arrangement with the prosecutors where Jenkins agreed to plead guilty in return for a 25-year prison sentence. If the judge does not agree to follow that exact punishment, the agreement is over and it goes to trial. So with that in mind,
yes,
Judge Williamson said, quote, you deserve the world of punishments for what you allowed to happen to Robert. The bottom line is I'd like to impose a greater sentence than 25 years. No appeals are allowed under this agreement. Jenkins will have to serve all 25 years without the possibility of parole. Still not enough, but
I love when a judge does this, though. When they're like,
I would sentence you. Basically, I think she would be like sentencing them to both to death, like if she could.
She literally said, if I could have other inmates whoop your fucking partner's ass, I'd do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Every fucking day, bitch.
Let's roll the dice.
Williamson, you're that girl.
All right. So, in 2012, KIBI-TV obtained phone recordings of Jenkins in prison.
Oh, God.
The report gave insight to the first 6 weeks. that she was in prison. In 12 hours of audio, not once did she say she was sorry.
Because she's not.
She did complain that she did not have a photo of Robert, whom she called Boo.
Why do you want a photo? You killed that baby.
Yeah. He did not pretend. Even if she didn't do the final blow, she watched.
She knew of the abuse.
And she hid. And she knew that that motherfucker dropped that baby in the New York Canal. She knew.
She made it possible.
Yeah.
If she wasn't there, it would not have been possible.
She said, quote, I play cards and we walk. And when we have rec, we can go outside and lay in the sun if we want to. We can walk outside. We can play volleyball, which I do. We actually get homemade baked breads, rolls. The cakes are actually made fresh every day. It's fun. I love it.
Oh, do you?
I hope they get podcasts in prison. Do those ladies know what you fucking done? In September of 2012, Jenkins filed for post-conviction relief. She said her attorneys, Rob Chastain and Deb Crystal, did not do a good enough job on her case. This is how... This is...
Never did.
No, just listen to this is verbiage. This is how... She's a fucking idiot. They didn't do a good enough job. Jenkins said her attorneys did not tell her about DNA evidence that would have exonerated her and did not present good enough mitigating evidence during her sentencing. And they also didn't try hard enough to get her case moved to another county. Ma'am, first of all, love your legal ease. Second of all, did you hear that judge? Were you in the same room? And guess what? Guess he gets to hear that. Post-conviction relief. Our bitch, Judge Williamson. In 2013, Jenkins asked for the petition to be dropped. Which, look, you should have thought about that when you thought about the judge that was going to be looking at your shit and it wasn't good enough. That's not legal. That's whatever.
You have to have some actual backing to prove it.
It wasn't good. You did a not good job. But she cannot file this post-conviction relief again. So you're fucked.
Glad you wasted your fucking chance, cunt. Sorry, guys. You know we swear. I'm sorry to throw that out there.
I'm not sorry for this one.
You know I'm not.
Okay.
I really am not. We have some of our followers that are like, I love listening to this around my kids, and I'm like, don't though. No. We don't want the C word to be your kid's next word.
No.
Take some you time. You need some time for you, sis.
And yeah, some people actually deserve the C word, and I couldn't think of better candidates.
You earned it, sis.
2015, Ehrlick appeals his conviction, but the conviction is upheld. Go fuck yourself.
Goodness.
And in 2025, Ehrlick is 52 and currently residing at the Idaho Correctional Institution in Orofino. He's up north. Wonder why he's so special. You know, I love that though, because even if his family forgave him, all of his family's down in the valley. And so he's so lonely.
All by himself.
I do think they do that on purpose. Fuck yeah, I'm in.
Well, don't feel bad.
Yeah. Some of these inmates shipped out of state. I'm like, I love this. I love this for me because your family's here and you get no fucking visitors. I don't know.
Visit with yourself.
Yeah. I bet you there's some cellies that would like to visit you for murdering a fucking child.
Do you guys get any internet access? If you want to subscribe, know about your cellmates.
And Jenkins is 46 and living in the South Idaho Correctional Institution, where Vallow is soon to return.
I wonder if they have the little cult together.
Yeah. Oh, baby killers, you fucking assholes. But she does have a release date, and that's August 2034.
Mark your calendars.
Mm-hmm. And that's how an innocent 8-year-old boy slipped through every safety net we like to pretend actually works. Robert didn't just fall victim to 2 garbage humans. He fell victim to a system that saw red flags and somehow still managed to fuck it up.
Complete fuckery.
Daniel Ehrlick will rot in prison for life, and Melissa Jenkins will be out of jail just in time to ruin everyone's 2034.
You know, I've heard, I don't know for sure, but I have heard of people coming up on their release date and things happen that extend it. It would be a tragedy, but only time will tell.
If you take anything away from this, it's this. Kids need people who will actually do something when they see a problem and not ignore the obvious.
Yep. 100%. And there was people that tried.
There was.
That only got a glimpse, like the grandpa.
Yeah.
He did not see this kid all the time, but he saw enough to say, why the fuck aren't we taking this
And
kid
you know
to the
what's so
doctor?
sad? Is that Charles, his dad, was like, he loved his mom so much. And that's really why he let him go. Because he's like, he loves his mom so much.
Because they're yearning for that acceptance.
Yeah.
All I can say is, if you don't want kids, don't have kids. Because regretting not having kids is a lot better than regretting having kids and something like this shit happens.
And hey, Ehrlick, Jensen, eat shit and die, bitch.
Please and thank you. Enjoy your dinner tonight. I hope it's full of rot. Anyway, thank you for listening. This was an incredibly traumatizing episode. 10-4, Rubber Ducky.
Fuck yeah.